Hi everyone, welcome to Homework 5 Part C, in which it has two parts. The first part is to draw the block diagram for a cascade controller with an inner loop process transfer function of a valve, GV, equals 1 over 0.1 s plus 1. Inner loop proportional controller gain of 1.2, master loop FOPTD, I can never say that, transfer function of GP equals 0.12 exp to the negative 5s divided by 12s plus 1, and an outer PI controller with a controller gain Kc and reset time of tau I equals 0.5. Find the controller gain to yield approximately 30 degrees of margin stability. And then for part 2 is simulate the closed loop response of C1 to a unit step change in set point. So you are going to see me up on the board doing part 1, and then at part 2 you're going to see me behind here coding all of that out. So I'll be right back. Hi everybody, if you're watching this, I also had a similar issue with homework 5A where my video just kind of ended because, well, it didn't end, I just didn't have any sound, so I'm doing a voiceover. So this is homework 5C, this is going to be part A, where we are, oh gosh, I don't remember what we're doing, but we have a cascade controller, it looks like, and I'm breaking down how we are going to get our different transfer functions. So we first have our first GC, or our GC outer. This is our master controller. And then we go into our function, HSP, set point, controller, then to our new set point, which is our GC inner, and our GV, which is a valve. Then it goes into our GP, which is our process, and it goes back to H, or otherwise known as the process. So, this problem was to draw a block diagram and then find the controller gain, which we will be doing in the code after this. So what I'm first doing is we're basically breaking down into little simpler blocks, kind of what we did in 5A, where we just said, hey, everything is G. So we have our G inner, which is going to have inside of it our GCI, or control of our inner, multiplied by our GV, or G valve, or GV as our transfer function of the valve. Then we're going to have our G outer, which also equals our H over H set point, and that's going to be GC out times GC inner times GP all over 1 plus GS out times GC inner times GP. And I think what I'm doing here, oh, no, I didn't write it yet. So what I actually did is, because I didn't feel like writing it, I just put parentheses and drew it there because that's the same thing. I just didn't feel like writing it. And now that we have these transfer functions, we can actually go and code them out, and is what you're going to see in approximately 35 seconds. And yeah, this is a cascade controller with an inner process loop, and then because there's an inner, it means there has to be an outer. So the inner is actually being controlled by the outer because the outer has the inner inside of the inner's transfer function in its own equation. So I will be right back recording. Thank you for watching. All right, so now that we have first drawn the block diagram, now we need to find the controller gain to yield approximately 30 degrees of phase margin stability, which is going to be very eerily similar to part B1, where we're finding the maximum stable controller gain, which is the exact same thing we're doing, except there's a little bit, instead of finding the exact thing they want, it's a little bit different, because for 30, what we're going to be doing is making a Bode plot, such as up here, we did in 5B, where we want to find when theta equals negative 150, and it should equal right about 1 on the magnitude, which is what we're looking for. So that means we're going to be messing around with, where is it? With GCO, our outer controller gain, because our inner is set, it's our inner controller gain. We want to actually set the system, not the internal workings. So we're going to be, as you can see, we have 1 right now, and we're actually going to be changing that value. So we're going to have that set up. Let's come up here, and where is it? Copy and paste all of this, because it is, yet again, eerily similar, I believe. And hope it's not broken. Control C, Control V. So we have WS, which we're going to change to -3, that has nothing from above, GJW, lambda S dot W1, that should have nothing from above, real GJW, should have nothing from above, sure. Let's see. I think I'm missing something. This is the exact same plot as last time, I believe. Let's look. 0.1, negative 150.583. Point 1, negative 150.583. No, it might very well might have been. So let's look at 2. 2, or it's negative 205 equals negative 203. Negative 205. It's because I changed the frequency amounts, I believe. For some reason, I want to say I'm missing something that's actually connecting these two, but I can't say what it is on the tip of my tongue right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to explain everything, I'm going to double check, and then we can come back and finish it. So I'm going to find this value, correct, and then we're going to do this all over again. We're going to do GC1 or equals GC times GP, except I really bet it should be outer, so we're going to have to change that. And then we're going to double check. Oh. We're going to have to obviously double check everything. And then we're going to have to double check and make sure they all lines up with the values we get up here when we're changing our values, when we're changing this. Is it stable down here? Because obviously whatever the heck is going on right now isn't going on correctly. So I'll be right back and making sure I want to connect these two, but I think I'm going about it the wrong way. So I'll be right back. So I think I found the issue, is that we are actually referencing G, but we're not actually figuring out what G is. G is going to be the numerator of what we just calculated before. Actually, let me do this. I was looking on the board. So let's see, I think you can still see everything all right. I'll scoot in. So it's going to be GCO times G inner times GP. GP. Voila. Mademoiselle. So from there, we should be good to go, because this is now referencing G, and this is connecting these two terms. What else we're going to want to do is we don't need this term. We are going to be referencing down here G outer. Gouter. Wow, it sounds like it hurts. So, oh man. So we want to find where it becomes negative 150. This is a really bad scale, but I just don't feel like changing it. So negative 150 is at between 0.705, basically 0.0705. 0.0705, it's 1.4, so 1 is too big. So we're going to go down. We're going to, so let's go down by half. So we go 0.705. All right, right about there. 0.7 in between. Now it's 0.7. So now it's let's do 0.7 now. 0.7, 0.70. So 0.70. It's really close, right? So if we do 0.070, I think we're on the money here, because negative 4.8, except this is close. So if anything, we'd want to go down just a little bit, that we can kind of shift it back a touch, technically. But theoretically, it's within the range. So I think it works. So that means we have found the controller gain to yield approximately 30 degrees, which we have found as 0.7. which I think is really close. I think it's within the range. I'm happy because let's see. So at 0.705, it is 1.37 degrees off. While it's less than
0.01. It's like 0.08 something. So while it's not perfect, it's very close. So now we can actually make this chart. Let's see, it's clear. Oh, I did not want to do that. Shoot. So we're going to see what happens when we change the set point. We are going to see it's going to go whoosh, 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 and then line out and be constant. Because if we were to do, let's try, so we had 0.7, let's try 0.1 again, just to see how it looks on this chart. Even 0.1 is still stable, because we're not looking at 180. We're looking at, oh God, what are we looking at? We are looking at 30 degrees of stability currently. So we do 0.7, or if we look at this, it goes up to 1.55. And this one goes up to 1.38. So it lessens the first guess. No, it makes the first guess a lot more realistic, which in then turn balances or smooths out our graph a lot sooner. So that means we have found the controller gain to yield approximately 30 degrees of phase margin stability, which we have decided is 0.7. And we have simulated the closed loop response of C1 to a unit step change in set point, which we did here. As we are seeing, we change the set point, it goes do, 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 and now it's golden. It's very, 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 very set in stone. So I think we have completed part C2. Part C1 and 2, meaning we are done with homework 5. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you ever see another YouTube video on this channel, it's probably a mistake. So thank you and have a good day.